Besides, this is obviously going to be. If you want to know what really happened, you need to watch this. This is the only place you're going to get this type of interview or
I don't really know what this is, but I didn't do it. I'm innocent, Judge. Not guilty. I'm innocent.
We, the jury, being duly impaneled and sworn, find the defendant, Matheau L. Moore, not guilty of murder, as he stands charged in count 1 of the indictment.
What are we doing, mate?
Hello.
Hello. Look at that. Vegas is cold. It's cold out in Vegas. Matt's got his hat
Freezing
on.
here.
He's got freezing. Hey, how do you like that intro? How do you like the intro?
I like it a lot. I do. I like it a lot.
I love it. And I always say that you represent, or you are part of what my channel is all about. And Mexi Texi, one of the mods, she made that. She spot on made that as well. So fair play to her.
Good work.
So we got people. Christine's in the chat. Hello, Christine. Hands for your Matt. Right. Good morning, Christine. Hands for your turned 40 yesterday. So happy birthday to Hands for your. She had a birthday yesterday.
40. The big 4-0.
Big 4-0. Now, I'll be honest with you, she's looking very, very hot for a 40-year-old. What? Stop it. Get your mind out of the gutter. But she's looking hot stuff. Hope you had a great day, Hens. Hope you had a great evening with your husband as well. And you ate loads of seafood. There we are, Matt with the alternate corner mug. There we are. Innocent unless proven guilty, baby. And the alternate corner t-shirt. Thanks to the hackster, Erin Hack. So shout out to Erin for that. Shout out to you as well, Matt, for wearing it. Here we are. We got Josie in the chat. Hey, Josie, my darling. Hope you're well, Josie. Josie, whenever you see Josie, I always think of wrongfulpod.com. She's the angelic voice on that podcast, so make sure you go over and take a look at that. Look at it or listen to it. It's a great podcast. I know all about Zachary Anderson. We've got Melissa in the house, just jurors. Good morning, Dylan, Matthew, and chat. I hope everyone's doing excellent. Very well, thank you. Now, just jurors, she's always here. You're the only reason she's here. Your story, she's watched your trial. You are the sole reason Mel is here. So, she loves you, man. She believes in you, and she believes in your story. So, and she wants to hear your story. So that's why when you're having like, oh, I'm not sure people want to listen to me. I'm not sure. Shut the fuck up, man, right? They're only here to listen to you. Do you know what I mean? People like this are only here to listen to you, my man. So let's go, dude. Morning, just jurors. Free Zachary Anderson. I hope you're all well, Josie. Look at that. It's so nice the chats that happen, So Josie's already caught up the Dateline episode for Matt. Can't believe Grubbs doubled down on his guilt. No proof. Yeah, you spoke about this before, haven't you? About Grubbsy just won't admit to it. Do you know what I mean? And people don't know who Grubbs is. He's a lead investigator who tried to get my man here in prison for life. The piece of shit he is. Grubbs. All the way from Indiana, though. Baseball Dad's here. How you doing, my friend? How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. The intro is fire. It is fire, isn't it? Great intro. Thanks to Mexi. Yeah, absolutely. She's the best. Hey, Matt from Christine. Happy birthday, Hens. Hey, hi. Hey, Sandra, my darling. Sandra, for some reason, keeps seeing the part of replay crew. But she always tries to watch everything live, but I always keep missing her. But she's here. So, finally here for a live for a little while before my son arrives for the weekend. Happy day, Sandra. So thank you for joining us. Alternate corner merch. Yes. Me and Matt wear the alternate corner merch and the mug and everything. So please feel free to go and all the description links are in the description below. So and the merch, PayPal, buy me a coffee, Matt's book, Matt's whatever, they're all in the description box. So please go and take a look. I will put there on the hang on, I'll put the banner up here now as well. I got the banner ready. Where's the banner I use every week? I forgot to put it up now. Here we go. To view another case of injustice, visit freezachariahanderson.org. To purchase Matt's book, go to Amazon, search for Emily, a staged suicide in Ohio. And then Free Zachary Anderson. And then finally, go visit wrongfulpod.com to listen to the injustice Zachary Anderson went and is still going through. So there's that. Love the new intro. Sums up the channel well. Thank you, Sandra. I think it does well. Two key people, Matt and Zachariah, and there'll probably be something else with Cara Reid as well now as well. I think she's also, there's a lot of injustice there, I believe. So I might add her to the channel as well. Good morning, Sandra. 100%. Yay, Sandra. We love supporting Matt. Thank you for the going to interview with me, Matt, when we do it, Matt. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hens for you all. Here we are. We just gave you a big shout out, Hens. You missed it. I gave you a massive shout out. But, I'm sure you'll go back and watch it. The big 4-0, baby. Check the links. I'm on the phone today. So, no, I don't need to post them anyway. Don't need to post them. This is not about me. The most important thing here is if you do one thing today, please go and buy Matt's book. That's the most important thing. Go and buy Matt's book. Nothing else.
If you want to know what really happened.
Yeah, if you really want to know what happens in Matt's
book. You either listen to this or you read the book. Or do both. Read the book, then listen to this.
Because if you read the book, and do this, there's questions. Do you know what I mean? There'll be questions that from the book you can ask here. So, so forget about my merch store, forget about my buy me coffee, forget about my PayPal, forget about all my stuff. All you need to do for me is like the stream. Second, all you need to do is go and buy Matt's book. That's all you need to do.
It's $10.
There's no need for links.
$9.99. The electric. $10.
Yeah. Listen, like a coffee. It's a great book, and Matt said, "Yeah, that book's excellent. Join us every week and read the book." That's all you guys. That's all I asked for. Josie, you said about posting links. There's no need for any links here. Everything I support is Matt, his book. Like the video. Go and subscribe to wrongfulpod.com. Visit the website about Zach. Everything about this channel is in that. That's why we do this. That's why we do it, baby. Right, where we are now. Now I'm delaying tactic a little bit because we got this Matt today. We got this woman today. So that's why I'm delaying it a little bit. It's tough. It's tough going. Today's gonna be a tough day. I'm reading. Good, Christine. Keep reading the book. Every book purchase is a punch in the D to Grubs. Absolutely is a punch in the D. Absolutely. That's why you need to support Matt and do that. I gave you a shout out the other day, actually, Matt. I'm starting to cover the Cara Reid trial, and I was telling people about like you and Zach and stuff because there's so much inconsistency in Cara Reid's trial. She's allegedly been accused of killing her boyfriend, and it's like it doesn't make sense to me. None of it makes sense to me at the minute. I can't see it. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff I can't see how it links in. I'm just saying the story about people say, "Oh, let the courts do it." Courts will decide, juries will decide. And I'm like, no, motherfuckers, because we got a guy here every Saturday called Matheau Moore who lost everything. You lost fucking everything. Do you know what I mean? So.
Can't even afford heat.
Can't afford heat. He's in fucking Vegas. Can't afford it. But anyway, the judicial system is shot in America. You are big proof of that, Matt. But the fact that you're still shining and, is a big fuck you to Grubs and all those bastards. But that's why I don't like the corruption that goes on. People think it's fine, it's justified. No, it's not, because you lose everything and it's,
clean you out.
It's not good.
Absolutely.
Clean you out. Right, let's get started on this, right? Because I'm probably going to put this on 1.25 because you say that she's got nothing to say. I put it 1.25 speed and then so we'll go a little bit quicker then. And I'll add it to stage, just because Matt said there's not much about these witnesses, so there's no point us, sitting here just twiddling our thumbs. Right, so here we go. Here we go again. Here she is. Oh, hello. More people come in. What's up, Dylan? Matt, looking good. Nice to see you smile, listening while working today. Hi, Sarah. Nice to see you, Sarah. He's all mashed out in the alternate corner gear today. Erin Hack, the Hackster, very kindly sent him a package which included the alternate corner mug and alternate corner t-shirt. So shout out to Erin Hack. And she's not here. I don't know where she is. She's normally here, but she's not here. Yeah. Listen, he'd be fine. You can discuss it with him. It's fine. This court system is fucked up in the States. Yes. Yes, baseball dad. Love it. Thanks, Sarah. Right. So we go on to this with this. We'll see what comes. We love Erin Hack. We absolutely do love Erin Hack. She's way too generous. And yeah, you all are too generous anyway. But I don't even want to start this, Matt, but we have to start it. So let's go. Let's go.
Well, if they're a family.
I don't think she's getting into specifics. I think she's talking about general.
Well, let's move on to what she.
Get the fuck out. We had this problem last time with the I've been streaming all week, no issues. This woman comes on and he keeps buffering. No chance. Right, hang on, let me just put the volume up. I'm gonna kick this woman in the balls if she mucks my.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you. So, fair to say that you were searching areas that seemingly hadn't been searched before?
That's all right. That's all right. Let's move on. Next question.
Fair to say you were searching areas that hadn't been searched previously?
Correct.
After some of those initial searches, did the areas that you were looking at change in any way?
Yeah. We searched, there was a ravine across the street from the condo. That was our first search. We went out more around Allen Creek and around places around Hoover. Information from, I'm not sure if I can say this based on the objection, but Amy was telling us family and friends.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
Without getting
to the next question.
Without getting into what people say, I know that's difficult. But did you start looking in areas a little bit closer to the condo area?
I guess we started near there and fanned out further, and then we ended up back near the condo again.
Okay. And did you have specific people that you would typically search with yourself?
Yes.
Who were those people?
This private Facebook group that we had, about 20 people, Lindsay and I would put our searches out, and any of those 20 would come on our searches. So it just depended on the day and time.
Well, while it's buffering, just to know that they're searching for a body. They're not searching for a live person.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Well, I mean,
I know.
Nobody was searching for a live person except me.
This is Matt's cash. Is this still your cash app, by the way?
Yeah,
Matheau Moore.
So. Yeah.
So
I think so.
Matt's priority is always the book, guys. That's his main priority is the book, and second priority is Cash App. So if you have bought the book, then please, support via Cash App. But unselfishly, Matt always wants the story out more than anything. So please get the book, and then if you have, then please consider donating to the Cash App. This rocket, this woman's gonna fucking. Be genuinely, I've streamed all week. I've had no issues.
I think what she just testified to is she said she started around the condo and then she spread out from there. She fanned out from there. Where are they looking? I don't know. But eventually,
As far as who we were.
Oops, sorry. What it buffers, I have to,
That's fine.
Right. So just let it go then. I'll let her speak.
Searching with that day. And who was available.
I'm going to show you, we have a screen there in front of you. What's been labeled Defense Exhibit D. You recognize that area?
Yes, I do.
So I'm going to focus
anyone that's new, this is obviously. Oh damn! Hang on.
Now to
This you can see my cursor. This is where Matt
Right.
lived,
That's right. It's my condo. That's right.
and
Go
then
down to the right.
this is where
Exactamundo. Which, if you come
this
out,
is where Emily.
I mean, it's. I mean, whatever that is, quarter mile, not even. I don't know how long that would be. But
So you're coming out here,
Cash App.
down
Thank
there.
you for the Cash App.
There we are. Just say, here we are. So, shout out whoever sent Matt a cash app. Shout out to you.
Thank you.
There we are.
But that's the area that they found her, and it's not that. I mean, you could see the woods from my home. If you look down the street, you could. I mean, it's right there, man. I mean, it's literally right there.
Yeah. So that's just in case people. I think people have seen it before, but just in case people haven't, that's where
And
it
that's
is.
where she was
the
for
time period.
almost 4 months, waiting to be found by the Westerville Police Department. That's why those dogs that they say they can smell miles away and all that bullshit's all it's nonsense.
On September 16th of 2020, do you recall being involved in a search on that day?
Yes, I do.
And I actually want to take a step back. Were you involved in a search in that same area a few days prior to that?
We were walking near that area, but didn't really search that area that day, like about a week before.
Okay, so the time about a week before September 16th, and you can actually draw on the screen there with your finger, were you part of a search in this general area?
We were in this area.
What the fuck? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. My test's perfect. I'm not even kidding you. It's perfect. And I've not had any issues.
I wouldn't call it a search. We were on a walk, and we walked. Can I draw?
Of course.
Okay. So Amy sent me 5 walking paths that.
Amy's the sister who she talked to. Amy said, "Hey, this is where you should look."
Yeah.
Also, she's going to testify that she talked to Grubbs, and Grubbs told her to look.
Emily and her mom would walk from
where she was found also.
Yeah, we covered this last time, didn't we? Yeah, because last week you said the same, didn't you? About he basically pinpointed where she needed to go, essentially.
Yeah.
From the condo that were 2 miles, about 2 miles long. And she said, walk and be my eyes and ears and just see if you see anything. So we walked one of those on Labor Day and didn't really see anything significant, nothing. But the second time we walked, we parked at Hoff Park, which is more up here, walked down Hoff Road and then down this bikeway here.
So down the bike path area there?
Mm-hmm, right. And then we walked across county line here. And then we walked up crossings to this Ashbrook and Maple and then back up to.
I've got to stop it now because she's just come in after all the praise we've given her. She's here. Erin Hack. She's here.
Erin. How are you?
Here we are.
Thanks for the shirt and the mug.
The shirt and the mug. We've been giving you like shout outs all morning, but you weren't here. So special shout out. Matt's wearing your mug and wearing your t-shirt and your drinking out your mug. So thank you, Erin Hack, as always. There we are. Looks great on you, Matt, from Hacky.
Hoff Park where we parked.
So as you're making this walk that you've identified, and I'm going to draw on that, were you going?
I'm going to fucking kick in a bit. Now I'm going to kick somebody in a bit. Right. I generally don't know what's wrong. I
Into
generally
the
don't know.
areas at all, or were you just walking down the path?
Because we were going on a walk that day and not searching, I had capri pants on and sandals, and I get poison ivy. And when I search, I have tennis shoes, jeans, long sleeve shirts. So we were not intending to search that day.
Bummer.
The stream hates us lady.
But
Not
when we got
had
down
any
to
issues.
this area here, we stepped up. It was a step up into the woods, and we just kind of stayed in the.
Very frustrating. Very frustrating. Right. I have that red shirt too. We could be triplets. My one's in the wash, I think. I wore it for the Karen Reed thing. So yeah, right.
Amy would let us know if there were family.
I don't think she's getting into specifics. I think she's talking about general.
Well, let's move on to what you're doing. Let's get this.
Okay, Ron. Thank you. So, fair to say that you were searching areas that seemingly hadn't been searched before?
That's all right. That's all right. Let's move along. Next question.
Fair to say you were searching areas that hadn't been searched previously?
Correct.
After some of those initial searches, did the areas that you were looking at change in any way?
Yeah. We searched, there was a ravine across the street from the condo. That was our first search. We went out more around Allen Creek and around places around Hoover. Information from, I'm not sure if I can say this based on the objection, but Amy was telling us family and friends. Okay.
Without getting
into the next question.
Without getting into what people say, I know that's difficult. But did you start looking in areas a little bit closer to the condo area?
I guess we started near there and fanned out further, and then we ended up back near the condo again.
Okay. And did you have specific people that you would typically search with yourself?
Yes.
Who were those people?
This private Facebook group that we had, about 20 people, Lindsay and I would put our searches out, and any of those 20 would come on our searches. So it just depended on the day and time as far as who we were searching with that day and who was available.
I'm going to show you, we have a screen there in front of you. It's been labeled Defense Exhibit D. You recognize that area?
Yes, I do.
And so I'm going to focus you now to the time period around September 16th of 2020. Do you recall being involved in a search on that day?
Yes, I do.
And actually, I'm going to take a step back. Were you involved in a search in that same area a few days prior to that?
We were walking near that area, but didn't really search that area that day, like about a week before.
Okay, so the time about a week before September 16th, and you can actually draw on the screen there with your finger. Were you part of a search in this general area?
We were in this area. I wouldn't call it a search. We were on a walk, and we walked. Can I draw?
Of course.
Okay. So Amy sent me 5 walking paths that Emily and her mom would walk from the condo that were 2 miles, about 2 miles long. And she said, walk and be my eyes and ears and just see if you see anything. So we walked one of those on Labor Day and didn't really see anything significant, nothing. But the second time we parked at Hoff Park, which is more up here, walked down Hoff Road and then down this bikeway here.
So down the bike path area there?
Mm-hmm, right. And then we walked across county line here. And then we walked up crossings to this Ashbrook and Maple and then back up to Hoff Park where we parked.
So as you're making this walk that you've identified, and I'm going to draw on that, were you going into the wooded areas at all, or were you just walking down the path?
Because we were going on a walk that day and not searching, I had capri pants on and sandals, and I get poison ivy. And when I search, I have tennis shoes, jeans, long sleeve shirts. So we were not intending to search that day. But when we got down to this area here, we stepped up. It was a step up into the woods, and we just kind of stayed in this general area right here that day. It was just curiosity, what's this look like? And I was with my sister that day, and I'm like, I'm not searching. I got to get out of here. I'll get poison ivy. And she's like, we have to come back here. It's just interesting. There were several things we noted as we were walking. We found interesting.
And who's your sister? What's her name?
Sherry Reynolds.
Okay. This area that you've circled here in the green circle there, how would you describe that area of the woods, that eastern part of the woods?
Tall trees, very open, lots of light, and like you could really see around you.
Okay, now you mentioned that you weren't in your searching gear, I guess, at that point. Prior to September 16th, how many searches do you think you were a part of?
Somewhere around 23, 24, 25.
Okay.
Total.
Now coming back then to September 16th of 2020, again, were you a part of a search on that day?
On the 16th, yes.
And who was with you?
My sister, Sherry Reynolds, and a friend of ours, Susan Sexton.
Okay. Why did you bring Susan with you this time?
Because as we walked down, I'm going to do that again. So we walked down this bike trail this way. We were noticing the slopes, and that by the time you got down near the bridge, there's water running. So we knew there was a creek, and she was our creeker. Whenever we'd go out searching, she would follow the creek bed and didn't mind getting wet. And since we saw that creek, when we decided to come back to this area and actually search, I said, let's bring Sue. She's our creeker.
Now, I'm going to draw here. Previously, so along here in County Line, did you take any note of that area going in that direction? So from County Line looking north up to the woods?
Yeah. When like I said, when we were standing in this area here, we had just stepped up into the woods to get in it. And we looked around a little bit. We came back down. And then we walked down the sidewalk. And as we were walking down the sidewalk, the terrain changed. You could see it sloped down at about this point here. And I just nudged my sister and said, look, it slopes down there. When we come to search, that I want to go down in. Whenever we were searching any place, whenever there were slopes, if you look down from the top, we noticed it's dark and hard to see. But if we got down to the low point and looked up, the lighting is so different, you could see like the whole area. So whenever I saw slopes, I just said, I want to go down in. I want to go down in.
So then on September 16th, the three of you were there to search this area. Is that what you said?
That's right.
Okay. Can you sort of mark on the screen what area the three of you started in and which direction you were walking?
Right up here where these two bike paths cross, there's a parking lot and it comes off McCorkle Boulevard, and there's a like dance studio, I think there. We parked there and we started on this bike path right here and came down this direction. And then we just started to search on both sides of the bike path. Oops. As we came this way, and by about here, we were over on this side and just kept going this direction and did mostly like that whole area.
Okay, so based on your drawing there, it looked like you started to sort of fan out towards the middle of the woods. Is that fair?
Right.
How were the three of you situated as you were walking?
I know Sherry was more on the bike path. I had gone into the woods. By the time we got down to where the creek is, Sue and I went down below to the creek bed, and Sherry stayed up on the bike path. We walked underneath the bike path. The creek goes underneath. There's like a tunnel. And then we went over here, and like Sherry, me, and then Sue. Sue followed the creek bed a bit, and we just kept walking south.
All right, so now I'm going to sort of put a marker here on the sort of southeast portion of the woods. At some point, did the three of you walk more in like a westerly direction?
Yes.
And as you're doing that, what can you say, if anything, about the area of the woods and if it changes in any way?
It does change. We got to this section here, and
Hold on, what section?
down to this, right by the road, really, like the section here. And Sue was not with us when Sherry and I took the walk, but I was telling Sue before we leave, I think by this point it was getting close to 7 and the light was getting darker in the woods. And I was telling Sue, it goes slopes down to the west. Before we leave, we have to walk west. I want to make sure we get that area before we leave. And my sister was a little to our north looking for, when we stepped into the woods that day, when we weren't searching, there was an angel figurine we had seen and taken a picture of, and didn't see anything else around there. But Sherry went back to look at that figurine and see if it was still there. So she was there, and Sue and I were down by the sidewalk when Sue and I started walking west and told Sherry, come on, we're heading west.
Okay, so as you start walking west, how do the woods change, if at all?
So the more we started walking, the less open, and like it was open with tall trees, you could see everything. The more west you went, it got these vines that you had to push out of your way, and thickets and bramble you had to kind of step over. It just seemed like we were fighting our way through the thicket to get further towards the west.
And were you able to communicate amongst the three of you? Well, let me ask you that first. Were you able to communicate amongst the three of you?
Yes, I was closest down here, and I know Sue was right behind me, and Sherry was behind her, more towards the north. And as we walked, we were talking, but as it got thicker, we couldn't see each other anymore, but I could still hear. And so I'm pushing grapevines out of my way, saying, this is weird. It's just different. This is really creepy. This is weird. Sue's talking to me. Yes, she was saying the same thing. And we just kept walking that direction.
And as you're walking west, what happened next?
I got to a point where there was a little clearing, enough that I could stand up and look around. And so that's what I did. I stopped and I turned.
And what happened when you turned?
So I stopped in a little clearing, turned to my right, and then that's when I saw Emily.
Now, when you say that's when you saw Emily, what
I
did you
didn't
see?
think that it was, I mean, I didn't know, but my very first reaction.
So this sounds to me, listening to it, and some people say in the chat, like it's just like a story time. I think she's probably said this story so many times to her friends and family now before coming to court, and probably she goes dines out on this. Probably she's out there having coffee, say, "Hey, have you got a minute? Can I tell you a story about when I found Emily?" It just seems like that. It just seems like, oh, I don't. She's annoying me. You know, she's really annoying me. I don't know.
You don't understand. That's the first place that I brought the police. This is right down the road from my house. That place has been searched several times with dogs. What are they doing there? Why are they there? I would love to ask her that. Well, we went there. We were here first, and then we spread out, and then we came back. What are you doing? What are you doing there? Yeah. Why would anybody be in those woods searching as hard as this woman is searching? Tell me.
Yeah, no, I agree. And my only other criticism here, right, about this woman is, I think that if you'd been found guilty, Matt, I reckon 100% this woman would have a book up by now about how she found Emily. Do you know what I mean? That kind of, it would have been, so it wouldn't be you on the title, it'd be here making money off of you, type of thing.
And another thing is, this woman and her friends, this is her 23rd search. This is, and it's not, they're not searching for a live person. There's no body. They're searching for a body. Why are they so certain that she's dead?
Yeah.
You know why? Cops, media.
Yeah.
They pounded this thing. They fucked this thing up so bad. They had Grubbs wasn't searching. Was he in there searching? Did he go anywhere searching? He had shiny shoes and the pants and the tie. He didn't search at all. He let people like this woman search. And I don't know if you noticed how nervous this woman is talking. She's nervous.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
She's beside herself. Wait till you see the next one.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm not trying to be belittle the woman, but it just seems like it's one of those gossip centers, one of those wine mothers that just love.
Could you imagine? A bunch of fucking retards. They gobbled up everything the police said. I was a murderer. I murdered my kids. I murdered my wife. I was a horrible person, a bum, drinking all day, nothing. I had, not working, being they believed whatever they were told. These people are drones.
I'm saying this, and maybe I shouldn't say this, right? Now, what I'm saying, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm still going to say it. But it seems to me that this woman and her friends are probably still saying that you're guilty, because they'll probably still say, no, you guys don't know. We found the body. He was like this. It's impossible. He had to. There's no doubt in my mind that she would be still believing you're guilty. Right
or
now.
Scared to death not to say I'm not guilty. Either one. Scared to death.
Yeah, maybe.
She's got to live in Westerville with those police. She's probably scared to death to say anything.
Well, if that's the case, then that's different, and I'll take it back. But I don't know. I don't know. I just, she's nervous, but I find she's quite excited as well. So that's why I'm a little bit dubious about the way she's saying things. But anyway. Doesn't matter. Hello, Lou, as well.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. You're right.
Action when I turned, I saw this figure sitting in the woods, and my first immediate thought was, it's a little girl with her on her knees, with her back to me, facing away. It was just immediate, and I said, "Hi there." I startled because there was a person in the woods with me.
What did you do next?
Then it was starting to sink in. What I was seeing, my second thought was, who would put a life-size doll in the middle of the woods? That just didn't make sense to me. And the third thought I had was, something's not right. So I started calling for Sue and Sherry. Come quickly. I have to know that you see what I'm seeing.
I'm going to show you what's been labeled State's Exhibit 64. I understand this isn't a photo you took, but is this a very similar to what you walked or what you just described when you were walking westbound?
So the lighting's different. I mean, but yeah, that's what I saw.
Bring up again, State's Exhibit D. Do you remember roughly the area of the woods you were at when you were walking? You found
I'd
it.
say by this point, we would have been right around this area.
Now you mentioned that you called for the other two. Did they eventually get to you?
Yes.
And what happened when the three of you were together?
So Sue came first. When I got to that clearing, I'd stopped and saw her. My instinct was to back away. I took 2 steps back to where I had come from, and there was a branch going sideways. So I maneuvered myself behind it because I was just a little fearful, and it just felt instinctually safer. And I'm telling Sue to come. She came through the thicket and came around behind me and stopped about the same place I had stopped initially. And we were standing there when Sherry came. She came again around the back of me and stood right to my left.
Okay. Did any of the three of you get any closer to the body?
No.
Did you touch anything around the body?
No.
Once the three of you were together, what did you do next?
I think we collectively were realizing what we were seeing. We said, okay. We all thought it was her, but we said we got a call. I took my bag. I had a string bag with me and opened it up to get a notebook out that had Detective Grubbs' phone number in it, but I'd forgotten my notebook. I had my phone and my hand was shaking. The girl said, it is an emergency. If I ever thought this was an emergency, go ahead and call 911. So I called 911.
Did you take a picture of what you found?
One of the girls said, let's go ahead and like I don't know, just take a picture, because when we were searching, anytime we came across something that seemed significant.
Working hard.
I just don't get why.
Has Grubbs' phone number in a notebook that she carry around with her. She's working for Grubbs. She was in direct communication with Grubbs. Grubbs told her to look there. To look where they're at right now.
And why would he? I just don't. I just don't understand why they took a photo as well. I just don't get it. Why taking photos of it? You're not touching it. Well, just leave. Just phone. I don't get it.
There's something wrong with this woman. I don't care what you say. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? And why are you?
Yeah.
Why is it so important for you to testify at trial? Okay, you were looking for her, you found her, you called the cops. What more do you need? I guess this is probably for effect how traumatizing it was for this woman. They probably thought that might work in some way with the jury. I don't know. But for her to ask Grubbs, hey, where do we search? And Grubbs to go, we should probably search. Don't be afraid to search where we've already searched. And for her to go there and to be there and search a place where it was so close to the condo and had been searched by cadaver dogs, what would make would you think, hey, those dogs have been around here. This would be a great place to search. Why the fuck would you go in there knowing the dogs already went all through everywhere and she wasn't there?
Yeah, what? Yeah, no, yeah, you're thinking another level altogether. Do you know what I mean? I just don't.
What the fuck are you doing walking around in there?
Yeah, why have you got Grubbs' number on your notepad that you forgot at home? I just don't. Again,
personal phone number.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it. But I also don't understand why you're taking pictures. You got to be some sick motherfucker to take a picture. Do you know what I mean? You're sick. I don't care who you are. You're sick.
Well, there's something wrong with her. For one, she's living in Westerville, and once you're there, and then you move out, and you look, they're fucking freaks, man. It's a town full of freaking people like this woman. Look at her. She's mumbling, stumbling. She couldn't come up with document. You wanted to take a picture. You wanted to document whatever. But she's so nervous right now. She knows something that we all don't, in my mind. And wait until you see the next one. She's just as nervous. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you lost
fear of police. Her fear of being part of something that's so scary. She's not scared of me. I'll tell you that fucking guy
Yeah.
standing over there looking the way I was looking. She wasn't afraid of me. She's afraid of the police.
Bloody hell. Just you said she took a picture. Yes, they took a picture. Josie, Matt, do you think Grubbs found her and realized it was suicide and didn't want her suicide, so he left her?
Yeah,
I mean,
I do.
that's more
That's a
plausible than most.
possibility. It's definitely a possibility. If they
It's
had a
plausible.
body, they found her, and they were like, you know what, we fucked up. Maybe it was afterwards or something. You know, sometime afterwards. I don't know, but what you tell me? That would make sense. How did they miss her? And then all of a sudden they send these women back into the place that had been searched by dogs. We'll get back in there and look more. It's like whatever.
Yeah. And this is just by
you can't get any more corrupt than Grubbs. He's incompetent and plus he's corrupt. And they had a body and they fucked up. They missed her. So they whatever they had to do to screw me, to convict me of murder, to convict me of murder, to get out of the fact that they're incompetent.
So Sarah says it. Sarah says she's so nervous. I imagine her testimony is right on point with her written statement. She appears to have rehearsed this and is scared to get it wrong. No doubt she's working with Grubbs. Yeah, so Grubbs has probably written a statement for her and she's had to practice it and practice it and practice it and practice it. So she's scared to get it wrong. Do you know what I mean?
If you follow evidence, if you follow the evidence in this case, the evidence said that the area all around where I lived, I don't know how far out you want to go, had been searched by dogs, had been searched by Texas EquiSearch, whose sole purpose in life is to look for corpses. Why the fuck are you looking there? Why? The evidence is not there. The evidence pointed to her getting into a vehicle where they lost her scent in that driveway, which was just north, and just left. So why are you searching where you're searching? They were searching around in Westerville the whole time. Why? When all the evidence pointed to her getting in a car and just leaving. So why are you searching around Westerville? She could have been anywhere in the world, but they were searching right around my house. You tell me.
Well,
didn't make any sense. That's not following the evidence at all. These women were not following evidence. They were searching in a place that the police told them to search, which had already been searched by cadaver dogs and people, and him, and Grubbs himself.
And not to forget, you took them to that spot. You told them exactly where.
On Tuesday, I took them right there and looked at the woods and said, boy, I'd hate to think anybody drug her in there. Are you guys going to go look? And they were like, yeah, we're going to go in there and look, and told everybody that they did.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, this conspiracy theory. I mean, you tell me, how did those dogs miss her when they walked past? She was only in there 65 feet from the road, which means from the woods where the dogs would have been 15 feet less than that. Would have been 50 feet. 50 feet from where she was, from where that dog was when it walked by. How many times? Who knows? And the dogs didn't pick her scent up because they don't work. They suck. They're not even worth it. They're incompetent. They're incompetent fools, and they got caught up in this thing. Can't you tell by talking to them? Can't you tell when my attorney puts Grubbs on the stand and he lies 3-4 times and doesn't even know, doesn't even see it coming? And I got him in 3 lies, I think 3 huge, big ones. Type of lies that you should be, you should have some sort of case for because they're lies. He's lying. Read my book. They're lying. This woman, I don't know what's wrong with this woman, but for her to be searching where she was searching, why were you searching? If you were a person that was like, okay, we're going to try to find a body. Okay, where do we start? Okay, we come over here. Where are you going to go into this little patch of woods that's already been searched by cadaver dogs? Are you really going to go in there? Well, yeah, I think we should. Why? You know how that leaves any place in Westerville open for search. And everywhere in Westerville, you see a patch of trees. Anywhere you see a patch of trees, she could have been. If that's the way you're going to look at it, of the dog, it doesn't matter if dog's been through here. We have to search it. It would take you a fucking 100 years to look for her. They went right to the spot she was, and they went right in there, and they found her. They were there. she said what she just testified to. She was there a week before, or a day before, whatever it was, and she said, "Mom, we should go down in there." Why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you think you're gonna be able to track better than a fucking tracker dog? You're gonna be able to find her? They went in there, man. They went in there because Grubbs told them to go in there. You know why I know that? Because that's what she said on Dateline. And she's probably going to say it here, too. I don't know. She said it on Dateline.
Yeah. Let's listen to what else she's got to say, and then we'll cover it. But hello, Emma. Nice to see you back, Em. We've missed you. Not seen you for a while, but hope everything's well with you.
It wasn't unusual for us to take pictures, and it has a date and time stamp on it. And so Sherry, I think it was Sherry, it might have been Sue, said, I'm taking a picture. And then I think all three of us ended up taking a picture.
But again, is that something that the three of you would do as you were involved in other searches?
What? Not just one picture, but all three of you took pictures. I mean, for fuck's sakes. Like, if it was, it's not even funny. It's not funny, but if you don't laugh, you fucking cry. I mean, what? All three of you taking pictures. Fucking hell. Jesus, mother wept.
Yes, I mean, we took a picture of the angel we found. We took a picture of phones that we had come across, and would send those in to the detectives. And
detective, yeah, she's working for him.
Eventually, someone called 911?
Yes, I called 911.
Okay. What transpired after that?
The police came very, very quickly. When they came on, well, 911 operator asked one of us to go to the sidewalk, so Sherry went straight up. She had to climb up the slope.
Right. Another thing, right, that doesn't sit with me, right? She just said they were sending pictures to the officers and basically to Grubbs and stuff. And she had his number in a notebook, fine. But if you're sending messages, the likelihood is you've got their number on your phone as well. So those messages are on your phone. So you've got his number. So why are you phoning 911 unless Grubbs has told you if you find anything or when you do find something, don't phone me or phone 911 or so, just to keep himself away from it in some ways. That's what I think they're doing that for. They got the number.
There's so many weird things you can take this. It's so strange how it just there are strange people in Westerville. Maybe they just don't react like everyone else. But I mean, for this woman, and then for this woman to be acting the way she is on the stand, what's the matter with you? Why are you so nervous?
Yeah,
it's like she's hiding something.
Well, yeah. All right, let's listen a bit more then.
Explain to me why the fuck were you fucking searching where you were searching? That's what I mean. I don't think Diane does, because Diane really doesn't give a shit. She's not looking to find out what happened. She's just pointing out that their version of events isn't true. That's all defense attorneys do. Now it's up to me and us to figure out what the fuck's with this lady. Dateline wasn't gonna do it. Dateline wasn't gonna ask her what the fuck. This place has already been searched by cadaver dogs. What the fuck were you doing in there?
Yeah.
She's probably afraid that's gonna get asked at trial. She's just nervous because then she's gonna have to tell the truth. Maybe she's afraid to lie. Who knows? But there's definitely something wrong with it.
And get up there, and then right when she did, the police were coming. The officer came down the way she went up and said, I think he asked who was in the woods, and I heard Jerry say Lisa and Sue are still in there. So he came down and told us both to come back up, and he took us up to the sidewalk.
So at that point, the three of you were then on the sidewalk here along county line.
That's right.
Okay. And what, if anything, happened once you were on the sidewalk?
They separated the three of us so we could write our statements. And after we had written our statements, they allowed us to come back together.
Did Westerville Police Department collect anything of yours or either of the other two?
They did ask because we had taken the photo for our phones, and we signed releases for them to have our phones.
Just sorry to like, I always say I'm sorry. Fuck it. Like the person they look into, one of the people they look into in cases like this are the people that either call 911, you know what I mean, or find the body. I've never seen the police notes. I've never seen the 30,000 pages of discovery, but I can guarantee you that none of these women were looked into as suspects. Guaranteed. They didn't even bother. And they found her. Because Grubbs it didn't have anything to do with me. He's so tunnel visioned on me. What you would think, hey, what the fuck were you doing in here, lady? I don't think any of that came in. They became part of the prosecution. They didn't. You tell me, why were you in there? Just to let you know that they should have at least been investigated, right? To try to figure out if they had anything to do with it. But I guarantee they weren't.
Because that's very sus. Because you would say if the dogs have been there, you've told them where to search, Grubs has been there to search, and all of a sudden they find, you'd think that's very unusual. Be like, well, hang on, where were you on the night of or on the morning of?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And yeah, you're putting into quite a search effort. It makes you look like a pretty concerned citizen. You know, I mean, I've been on 23 searches. You know, you have the personal phone number of the lead detective. I mean, you're putting in a lot of effort, aren't you? And you're searching in an area that no one in the world would ever have thought to search because they've already been searched. I mean, at least look into them, right? Yeah, I don't know, man. And why were they even searching for a body? There was no evidence that she was even dead. None. Zero. No.
Fucking
No. Evidence of foul play found anywhere, dude. Anywhere. Nowhere. Because there was no foul play. That's why there wasn't any evidence found anywhere. And they're still going on about, well, you know, we don't have any evidence at the condo, so it could have happened there. We just don't know. Well, there's no evidence of foul play at the condo because there was no foul play at the condo. You fucking dummies. There was no evidence of foul play anywhere because there wasn't any foul fucking play.
Fucking hell. Right, let's hear a bit more then. Fucking hell.
I have no further questions at this time. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Diane Menashe on behalf of Matt Moore. I'll show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit D. I've got some questions about that, but first I want to just go back with respect to the one time that you met Matt Moore. You went to the 46 Abbey Cross address.
That's correct.
And you went there because you had heard that, or it was your understanding that Emily Noble's husband had flyers for distribution.
That's right.
And you went there and knocked on the door, and Matt answered the door.
Yes, there was two doors, a screen door and a house door, and I believe he came out the screen door.
And you explained your purpose there, and he handed you a bunch of flyers,
Yes.
did he not?
Yes.
And the flyers indicated that if you have any information about Emily Noble who's gone missing, you can either call his cell phone, and his cell phone was listed on that piece of paper, was it not?
I think so. I know ultimately there are a couple different flyers, so I think the first one I picked up probably did have his cell phone on it.
Or it said you could call Western Police Department, if you recall.
I'd have to see it again to say for certain, but probably.
And then you distributed those flyers around town, and you posted a picture of one of the flyers on your Facebook.
Yes, I posted it and sent it to people in the whole field in case you were out having a crisis, and they came across it.
In case she was out having a crisis. You didn't know?
I had no idea
Sure.
what was going on. Like I said, I didn't really know her
Sure.
in the adult years.
So I want to talk now about this area. I know that you had indicated that you had participated in the one organized law enforcement search. I think it was at Hoover. Did I write that down right?
So I did not participate in the Hoover search, but the search a week after that started at Westfield North High School.
You participated in that one.
Yes.
And that was where you heard Sergeant Alloway kind of speak to the crowd, and fair to say he gave like tips, best practices for searching.
Yes, I mean that's what I recall. Yes.
And obviously you listened and accordingly, and as we know from your phone, when you were doing the searches, you took pictures of anything that might be relevant, right? I think there's some pictures, like for instance, some bones, or you talked about the angel. Can you describe the angel for the members of the jury?
Sure. It was a figurine that was, I'm guessing, maybe about this size. It was not new. It looked kind of worn, and maybe a greenish cast to it.
And when you say worn, it looked weathered, did it not? Like it had been there.
It certainly looked old.
So I want to talk to you about before you find the remains, the time the before that, around Labor Day weekend, when you were walking a route,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
You were walking a route based on information that you had received from her sister about where she liked to walk.
That's
Is that right?
Right.
And you walked here,
Mhm.
and at some point you walked along County Line Road as well. As you were walking down County Line Road, fair to say that it struck you that this area sloped down,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, it was. Stepped up in the woods over here, and then over here, as we walked this direction, we noticed a slope down over here.
Right, and that's and I know that you testified about your work in the mental health field, but you have no law enforcement training.
No, I don't.
And so you're just the lay person walking along a sidewalk where Emily walked, and it stood out to you that this is an area that slopes down.
The only reason it popped out at me was after doing 20-some searches. That seemed significant to me. I mean, other than that, I don't think it would have struck me as anything significant.
Sure, but so based on your experience, that seemed significant to you, and you made a mental note of it, right?
Right.
So then let's go back to the 16th. I think you indicated that you parked somewhere up there where my red X is,
Yes.
and that the three of you walked down in this direction, and there's a creek along here. Is that right?
Yeah, the creek kind of goes this way, kind of curves.
Okay. So, and maybe let me clear that for. I'm sorry. Will you show the jurors again the direction of the creek?
Oh gosh, let's see. Probably right around here, and then it curves, but I don't know exactly, where it goes. We followed it for a while, and then we stopped and ended up going this way.
Okay. So initially you walked along the bike path?
Yes.
And then you told the jurors about how the creek or the water stood out to you, and so you followed the creek.
The day we did our walk, we walked the bike path, and I noticed the creek. The day we did our search, we were actually in the woods walking, and then once we got to the creek, followed the creek a little ways.
Okay. So you're in the woods on September 16th
Yes.
searching.
Yes.
Just 3 lay people, right? Just in the woods searching.
Yeah.
Looking for anything that might appear to be Emily Noble, right?
Correct.
And then you talked about how you start from here and ultimately you make your way this way, do you not?
Yes.
Now, as you're making your way from east to west,
Mm-hmm.
you're making your way while you're still in the wooded area, are you
That's
not?
right. Yes.
So that's possible. You can walk through.
It was possible to a point. It got thick and brambly and really hard, but we
Sure.
kept.
I want to talk to you about that because isn't it true that as you approach the area to where Emily is ultimately found, I wrote that you said you had to fight your way through.
Mhm.
And how tall are you?
5'3".
5'3". So even at 5'3", you had to fight your way through the grapevines to ultimately get to the area where Emily was, right?
Right.
And there was a lot of branches there, were there not?
Yes.
And at 5'3", even those branches were low enough to be in your way.
Yes.
How long did it take you to traverse from this part of the woods to where Emily was found? Just approximately. I won't hold you to it.
I'm thinking I know it was getting close to 7, which is why I felt the urgency to move west before the sun really was getting low and we were losing light. So it was close to 7. So probably in the range of 5 to 10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes from here to make your way over here, right? Because it wasn't obviously, it's not just a clear path. You've got to go through the brush, the grapevines, as you described.
Right.
When you see her, as I recall, her back is to you. Does that sound right? The remains are her back is to you.
That's right.
I want to show you a picture that was taken from one of the cell phones that might be more representative of the light at the time, showing you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit AA. Tell me if you could turn the light down a little bit. Thank you. If this is Defendant's Exhibit AA. Oh, okay. Well, somewhere between. I'm sorry. It just on a little bit more. Sorry, it just seemed really bright. Okay.
I'm surprised they allowed that on.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Prime.
I need to. Showing the witness what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit.
Usually they were pixelating those pictures. That's a rather graphic picture.
AA. I'm trying to capture the time of day when you saw the remains. Does the lighting depicted in Defendant's Exhibit AA appear to be similar to as it was when you saw the remains?
Yes, it does.
And you testified on your direct about how kind of once you got under the canopy, there was more light once you were down in there.
Mhm.
And that picture, it's taken where it's seemingly a clear view.
Mhm.
Is that how you were oriented to her when you first saw her?
This is when I approached that area, I think I probably took 2 or 3 more steps past this is where I initially stopped, turned, saw her, got fearful, backed up, and I remember positioning myself behind this branch for just instinctual safety.
Sure.
And this is the angle then where I stood. Then when Sue came, she went to my left and stood to my left, and Sherry came immediately to my left.
I want to publish it just for a second to ask you a question so the jurors can see it. This right here was a large fallen tree.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I do remember positioning myself behind either a branch or a log. I couldn't remember what it was exactly, but something that was horizontal.
And
But
then,
that
of
looks
course,
right.
these are the remains here as in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
On your direct examination, I wrote down that when you saw the remains, you knew immediately. And you testified that first you thought it was a child, right? But you knew immediately that your first thought was it's a person.
I startled because there was a person with me, and my first instinct was it was a child, and I said, "Hi there." And I'm thinking, who would put a life-size doll? It was just instant, really
Sure.
quick. And then I was starting to sink in that I was seeing.
Sure, and then it began to process,
Yes.
right? But your first instinct was actually hello there, because
Right.
That was
Yes.
sort of where your mind went quickly. One moment, Robert. Yeah, let me ask you one more question. When you parked, we talked about to traverse from here over to here where the remains were found. I think you said it's about 5 to 10 minutes to get over there. And if,
Yes,
just to guess, yeah. And if you recall, fair to say there's nowhere to park on County Line Road, right?
that's correct.
Did you remember from your search that back here, there's a road that goes here and you could pull in here? Do you remember that?
No, we didn't go in that area at all.
Okay. But we know just to get from here to over here through the brush and all the grapevines, et cetera, is approximately 5 to 10 minutes.
That's probably about how long it took us. I don't know. Not to guess.
Sure, of course. All right, thank you so much.
You right?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm going to put up Defense Exhibit D there. You were asked questions about how long it took you to go from the east side of the woods to the west side of the woods. I think you said it was about 5 or 10 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
How about from County Line Road to where the body was located? Was that a shorter distance, a longer distance, or something else?
That'd be much shorter.
How long did it take you to get from when the police arrived, from where the body was and where you were located, up to County Line Road there?
Maybe 30 seconds. I mean, it wasn't far off the sidewalk. It was, I don't know how to say that, just like maybe a few steps and up this hill, up this embankment to the sidewalk.
Was it easier to get up that embankment as opposed to going through the bramble that you described on the eastern portion there?
I'll permit it. Go ahead. She can answer that question.
It was easier as we were leaving that area, yes, except for it's uphill. We had to scoot up this embankment. But other than that, it wasn't like we had to fight through thicket to get to the sidewalk.
Now, how about when you were standing in there after you located the body? Were you able to see up to County Line Road to the sidewalk area?
There's a lot of leaves and tree covering, leaves covering bushes, like blocking the actual sidewalk. If somebody were walking by the sidewalk, I'm not sure I would have seen them, but you could hear, like when the police came, you could hear the sirens, you could hear the officer talking.
And how about when police arrived and you were on County Line Road? Obviously, you knew at that time where the body was located, correct?
Correct.
Were you able to then
Stop there a
see
minute,
where the
Bill.
body was located?
No.
From County Line Road to where Emily was found, it was 65 feet. From where they came in from, They came in from the opposite direction, so they had to go through all this. It took them like 5 to 10 minutes to get there. County Line Road, you can't park on it, which means there's no side of the road. You know what I mean? So they didn't even make an attempt. They're kind of making an attempt right now to, hey, he could have drove her there, parked on this real quick, pulled up, parked on the side of the road, and then drug her in there. You know what I mean? But they never make that attempt. They make attempts to explain things, but they like what he's doing right now isn't really he's making an attempt for you to maybe think about it, but he doesn't connect the dots. They never do. But know that where they're saying the 65 feet from the road into the woods where she was, that would mean I would had to have drove her there for one, which the car never left the house. It would you notice it. And then if I parked on the side of the road, I mean, you can't park there. So that means if a car would have came by, I would have been parked in the middle of the road. You know what I mean? So it would have been real easy to notice something like that. I don't think they make an attempt to. They just want you to assume that, which they do a lot. They make these statements and hey, that's tricky. Hey, let's think about that, but they never actually make an attempt to explain it that way. If you know what I'm trying to say, I'm not sure.
No, I do. Yeah, I do.
And also, if you look at that picture of her, and there's a stump with a bunch of branches and all this stuff, and it was, I think she's saying it was getting towards like 6 or something like that, and 6-ish. It's starting to get dark. You can't see in there. So, I mean, this would have been the same kind of lighting situation that Emily would have went in there the night of the 24th. So they're saying that I did this thing in the dark, or that I brought a flashlight with me. And if anybody knows anything about flashlights, if I'm in the woods with a flashlight, you're going to see it. Someone's going to see it. It's just too populated of an area. So they don't even bother telling you that that's what they think happened. But they're just trying to make it sound like it. You can assume that that's what happened. But if I went in there, if I would have parked on the side of the road, I would have been busted. If I would have walked up there from the condo with her, carrying her, someone would have seen me. There's no way I could have got up there without being seen. No way. It was dusk. I would have been seen. What am I gonna do? Walk around down the middle of the road with a body? You know what I'm saying? Or sneak around? It's their story just doesn't make sense. It's an impossibility. And then to get there, walk her into the woods, and then they say like, well, where did I kill her then? Did I kill her in the woods? Couldn't happen. She never went in the woods. She was a forager. No one went into those woods ever. There wasn't any reason to go into those woods. They said I killed her in the woods. It's not. How could that have happened? How would I have known she would have been there at that spot in the woods? She'd never been there before. There was no reason to think that she was there. I think what they're going to try. The only way their story makes sense is if I killed her on the outside of the woods, which would have been out in the open. Would people, cars going by, people walking around? Trust me when I say it's a very heavily traveled area. It would have been way too risky. And then to drag her into the woods where it's dark, in the complete darkness, find a branch that's perfectly, that's the perfect height to get this thing done. So they never even go into that, but they just, what they say is, well, he confronted her in the woods, he killed her in the woods, and then he hung her up to look like a staged suicide. How the fuck are you supposed to do that in the complete darkness with no one noticing anything? What she did is she went in there and she killed herself, man. That's what makes sense. She went in there and she hung herself, and those injuries to her cheekbone didn't exist. Just the neck fractures, and those neck fractures happened because she was dangling there for 4 fucking months while she blew around in the wind, and she went from fucking 100 pounds to 19 pounds, and the neck bones broke. They took a suicide and tried to turn it into a murder, man, because they're fucking scumbags, period. And cops are like this all across the country. your loved one commits suicide, what that is it's an opportunity for police to make a murder out of it. That's exactly what suicides are to police. It's a body. It's an opportunity for them. They're dirtbags, man.
Oh well, we've seen it, so it's fine. Hi Anthony, how you doing, friend? Seen question. So just so people know, if you've got questions about Diane specifically, at the end of the series, Matt's going to answer all the questions. He'll give us a review on Diane, Minesh, and if you've got questions, he'll answer questions then. We're trying to keep them, group them. I'm not ignoring you, Mel, because you think I am. I'm just trying to keep it all together. So that's a very good question. I know you're going to be here to ask the same question again, Mel. So.
What was the question about?
I just don't want. Well, I don't want you to repeat it all the time because we've had some questions already that we keep repeating all the time. So I just think, as we discussed, we might as well just keep everything till the end. Otherwise, it's going to be engrossed. But I'll note it because it is a good question.
I'll address one. At the end of the Dateline, she's asked, "Is it possible Emily got murdered?" And she's like, "Yes." But then you have to listen to what she says. But that's going back to the beginning and looking at that anything is possible. That's what she means by saying that Emily might have been murdered. You have to look at it as a lawyer. She's not saying, "Yeah, I definitely think Emily was murdered." Blah blah blah. She's not saying that.
So let's get on with this.
You were standing in the woods right around the time you were calling.
Oh what?
Police. Do you know about what time that was?
I believe I called my phone. I remember looking at my phone, and then for some reason 7:06 sticks in my mind is the time I made the 911 call.
So sometime in the early evening?
Completely accurate.
Is it fair to say it was early evening?
Yes.
Okay. What was the lighting situation like in there? Was it easy to see at that point?
The lighting was getting, darker. Sunset was, I know, in my mind, when we were moving to the west, I knew we were going to be losing sunlight. I believe it was going to set around 7:30, and it was getting darker. When you're in the woods and the sun's going down, it's darker in the woods than out of the woods. So it was,
and they say
dimmer, and
at the end, they say that I murdered Emily. It was between 8:40 and 9:20. That's when I went and did this. That's what they say. That's because that's the only time I'm not on my phone and at the condo. Is this time between 8:40 and 9:20. It's fucking dark out. It's dark. So they said I did all this, and then they say that I went into the woods to do it because they needed me in the woods. She just described what it was like trying to get to where she was. Do you think that could happen in the dark in the woods? It doesn't make sense, right? Does it make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me. Where she was murdered, or where they found her? Is that where she was murdered? They don't say. They don't fucking know. They're just saying Matt went up there and did it. That's all we know. We went up there. He did it. He somehow he did it in the dark. He dragged her in there. No one saw anything. No one heard anything. He just went and did it. No one saw him walk up there. No one saw him walk back. No one saw anything. He just did it. That's their fucking case. There's reasonable doubt all over it. It's stupid. It's fucking a waste of fucking time is what it was. And it cost me everything because they're fucking stupid.
Saving that. Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Sorry, I just trying to make a list of questions. Sorry. No, I got you, man. But it wasn't Matt if it was a murder. But it wasn't Matt if it was a murder. Yeah. Well, this is the point. If it was a murder, then it wasn't you because they can prove that you were there. So,
trust me, it wasn't a murder. It wasn't a murder.
No.
I mean, but you're right. If it was, how is it going to be me? But I mean, I guess if they looked into other suspects, we might know that. But I'm like 100% certain that. I don't know if I've told anybody this, but it's in my book. She tried to commit suicide prior to this, while I knew her. You'll have to buy the book to find out. She was suicidal, like suicidal.
Yeah. Like
she tried it before. Yeah. And for all her friends to say that she wasn't, that's just because people are incapable of accepting that. It's very hard for people to accept that someone they know that was that close to them that slipped through their fingers. It's tough. It's hard for them. Her sister wasn't. Her sister asked her Are you going to hurt yourself? How doesn't that prove that she's suicidal? I mean, it's silly, right?
No, you covered this quite a few weeks ago, and he said the same about it. That because and your reasoning behind it was that if you'd have told them that she was suicidal or had tried previously to commit suicide, then she would have been, because you thought she was still alive. So that at that point, so she would have been committed then.
Yeah. I didn't
That's why.
tell him suicide because it ain't in their fucking business whether she was suicidal or not. But I didn't realize it would turn into this. I was trying to protect Emily from being taken away to these fucking awful places that they take you.
Yeah.
Jesus, I didn't expect them to fucking try to pin a murder on me. Jesus Christ. Who the fuck would have thought that?
No. Erin Hack's got a question for you. What were the times again that Creepy Creamer saw her? Do you remember off the top of your head? What time did Creamer see her?
Say that again. What were the times again that Creepy Kramer saw her? Kramer saw her. This is another part of it. We got home from the from going out. We were out partying downtown. We came home. I drove home. We got home right at 7. That's when Kramer saw her. We went inside. They needed. This is hard. This is important. I don't know if I can explain this right. She never went for a walk. She stayed at home with me all the way up until we went to bed. Kramer said that she saw her at between 7 and 8. That was his original, because he didn't know what time exactly it was when we got home. We got home at 7. They needed her to leave at 8 at the latest. So they just turned this. I saw Emily between 7 and 8 into she was going for a walk at 8, because on my cell phone I'm on it until 8:40, and then there's a 40-minute period till 9:20 that I'm not on it. So that's the time they're going to say that I did this. So she leaves at 8. I'm on my phone till 8:40. At 8:40, I take off. I go do this, and I'm back on my phone by 20 after 9. The walk that she would go on to collect the wood sorrel, she didn't go on, but if she would, and at night, very rare, very rare that she would ever go up there at night. She would occasionally, but it's not. She didn't that night, I'll tell you that. But she would have had to have left right at 8, which she didn't, and then go on this 15-minute walk. She would have been home. She would have been home by 8:20, 8:30 at the latest. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Their timeline doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. And then they say at 8:40, I'm on the phone until 8:40. Then I get off the phone immediately with my friend. I get off the phone. I run up there, try to find her wherever she was on this walk. Go into the woods, they say. Into the woods. Never happened. She's never even been in the woods until that night that she decides to go in there and kill herself. But other than that, there was no going into the woods. We didn't forage. And you don't forage in woods. You forage outside the woods. And where that wood sorrel was isn't in the woods. I hope that explains. And trust me when I tell you, they don't even go into that. All they say is there's a time period from 8:40 to 9:20 that I'm not on my phone. That's the opportunity that I have to go up there and get her. And they say then my phone again stops at 9:30. That's when we go to bed, and that's when there's this 3-hour period where we're sleeping. They can't use that because Emily never would have wouldn't have been out that long. She went for her little walk, one of her walks. That means she would have left at 8 and went all the way until past 9:30. That's an hour and a half walk. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. She would have went for a walk for an hour and a half. I hope that kind of does the timeline for you people. But that explains why their timeline that doesn't work. But the reason their timeline doesn't work, because they don't even explain that. They don't even explain it. All they say is she left at 8 o'clock. There's a period between 8:40 and 9:40 where I'm just not on my phone. That's why it's so important. When in life, cell phones can be good and they can be bad, but they proved my innocence. Because I'm always on my cell phone. I'm calling people, sending texts, doing things, and it proves that you're somewhere where you can't be. So their timeline, and they try to stuff all this crap in this little their timeline that doesn't work. And I have to explain it to you. I don't think Diane does. I think she might a little bit, but that's their story, that I did this between 8:40 and 9:20 because I'm not on my phone. I'm just not on my phone. No one saw me walk up there, which you would. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care how. There's lights. The whole neighborhood's lit up at night. You can't walk up there without being seen. Trust me. I would have been seen. Emily would have been seen too, and she wasn't. You know why? Because she didn't walk up there until the next day, which was Monday between 9 and 10 when John Kramer saw her walking up there. That's when she went up there.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that's fine. Shani, hello, darling. Matt, trying to make sense of the nonsensical makes those of us doing it sound insane. They drove themselves in the insane bus, in the Erin Hack bus, in the yellow bus. Yeah, I know. It's all insane. None of it makes sense. None of it really,
And they don't.
we can
And
theorize.
unfortunately, in cases they don't have to, because they know they don't.
No.
They get a jury and they just put all this bullshit in front of you, and then they leave it up to the jury to figure it out, which a lot of them can't. I mean, how could you? You only got a day or two to figure it out, right? And it's just too much. They inundated you with so much information, and then they're like, and then their final argument that gives them a chance to go up there. And in my case, they didn't even attempt to tell you what happened until final argument. That was so that Diane couldn't cross them. So what they say could be full of bullshit, and there's no way you could make it out to be bullshit because you can't cross them. It was a dirty trick. They didn't have a case. They didn't tell anybody their version of events until final argument. I don't know if you guys, trial guys, has that ever happened before?
No, it's not. Yeah, you outline everything, and then the final argument is just a place of just condensing it. But yeah.
And then their motive was that you gotta have motive. You don't have to have motive, and you don't have to prove motive, but you can use it. But everybody needs a motive. Why did he do this, right?
Yeah.
They said that I did this because Emily wanted to get a divorce, and I was that type of guy that was so controlling that they said I didn't have anywhere to go. It was over. Joey was gone, and I didn't have anywhere to go, and Emily wanted the marriage was over, and then, and that's why I killed her. What? I could have went anywhere I wanted. I asked her if she wanted a divorce. If you read our text messages in context, you would know that I wasn't possessive at all. Trust me when I say it, not at all. There was nothing in our text messaging that would make you think that I was like a real possessive type person. I let her go out whenever she wanted. I let her go wherever she wanted, whenever she wanted. We had a really, really loose relationship. It was really great. So they tried to turn it into something that it wasn't. And they were really, really bad at it. And my jury was 90% old people, old white people. There was one black lady, and she was older too. And they couldn't convince older white people from Westerville, New York, that the police weren't lying. They couldn't even convince those people that it was so obvious that they were lying. And the problem is I had a decent lawyer. You know what I mean? There are people out here that have horrible lawyers, and these people get away with this, man. There are innocent people that are in prison because of fucking people like Grubbs and Sleeper and Schipple and whoever that other dork is and Grubb. They do this to people. It's horrifying. If this doesn't horrify everybody, I don't know what would.
Until it happens to them, Matt, they don't care.
They don't.
People don't care,
man.
We see it every day. We've seen it with you. We've seen it with Zach. We've seen it with Karen Reed. We've seen it. It's everywhere. People don't give a shit. Until it happens to them, people just don't. They laugh at it. They don't care. They're just like, whatever. Who gives a shit? You've lost everything.
Money. It's money. Read my book.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at this kind of like on the spot talking. Read my book. I encapsulate it and I tell you this is what happened. And this is what happens all the time. These people are just imagine the type of person that wants to be a cop. What the fuck kind of people are they? Who wants to be a prosecutor? You know why prosecutors are prosecutors? Because they can't be defense attorneys. Because they're not smart enough. Everybody wants to be a defense attorney because that's where the money is, but they can't. So what do? They go to work for the government because that's where the flunkies go. That's right, flunkies, shitty attorneys.
Yeah, well, we see it all the time.
Cheers.
Right, let's listen to the rest of this one then. She won't go much left. So.
It was part of my feeling of let's get over there and clear this area so we can get done with this and out of here before the sunset.
All right. No further questions. Thank you.
You were asked about what you could see when you were where the remains were found, what you could see in terms of on County Line Road. But I want to ask you, you could see when you were there waiting for the police, you could see the back of that house, could you not? This house right here.
You know, that does not stick in my mind that as I was standing there, that I saw the houses. I don't know that I visually saw.
I'm sorry, did you say you saw houses?
You said a house?
Oh.
The houses there? I
Yes.
don't think I mean, that doesn't stick in my mind. I remember seeing woods. I don't really remember seeing a house.
Fair enough. So you remember being there, standing down at the remains, and the questions with respect to the County Line Road then. To get up to County Line Road, the slope to get up, did you have to grab one of those branches to help yourself up?
I had a pole with me that I used as I was walking, and I used the pole to push myself up to get up the slope to the sidewalk.
Nothing further.
Any questions? Anyone like to ask?
Just make sure they get lost around.
Yes, thank you.
Ma'am, can you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
Sherry Reynolds, REYNOLDS.
Where are you currently employed?
Dorigo Rem. I'm a sales representative.
How long have you been working there?
6 years.
Do you currently live in Westerville?
I do.
How long have you lived in Westerville?
I moved to Westerville in 1970, and then apart from going to Ohio State, off and on.
County.
Do you know someone by the name of Lisa Gordish?
Yes, I do.
How do you know Lisa?
She's my sister.
Okay. How about, do you know someone by the name of Emily Noble?
I do not. I had never met Emily.
Okay.
But
Do you know someone by the name of Mathew Moore?
I know who they both are.
And is that through your involvement in this case?
Yes.
Or as a witness in this case?
Yes. I had never met either.
Okay. So prior to what we're going to talk about here in a little bit, you had never met Emily or Mr. Moore?
Correct.
At some point, did you become involved in searches for Emily Noble after her disappearance?
I did.
Without knowing her, how did you become involved in those searches?
My sister, Lisa, knew Emily from school, and she contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in helping with searching. And it was during our lockdown for COVID, and there was really nothing going on. I wasn't working much. It was just the timing just hit well, so that I had a lot of time.
Okay. So how did you first get involved in either the searches or being a part of that process?
Just through Lisa. I learned more about what was going on. I had heard about it, that she was missing from the news, and then Lisa contacted me and asked me if I was interested in searching.
Okay. Do you remember the first, few searches that you went on?
Sure. The first one was at Glen Echo Park in Columbus.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how did you get involved with that initial search?
Just through my sister, she would put out a request for a certain number of people to search. And so if it was a larger group, or a smaller group, then we would determine how many people we needed to search.
And would that be your answer to how you got involved in any of the searches you were involved in?
Correct. Through my sister.
Okay. Do you know roughly how many searches you were a part of?
Roughly about 14 or 15.
And were you part of, or do you know how what areas were being searched was determined, or how would you decide where you were going to search on a certain day?
So some of the searches we got from Emily's sister Amy, and some of the searches we got from the detective searches that we went on, the organized searches that we went on. I just followed along wherever Lisa said we should go. So it really depended on time. If we had a large block of time, or if we had a small block of time, that's how she decided kind of where we were going to go on any given day.
Let me show you what's been previously labeled States Exhibit D. Do you recognize this area?
Yes, I do.
And I'm going to specifically draw sort of this bike path to county line, and then this sort of wooded area here, just north of county line. Okay.
Right.
At some point during the searches you were involved with, were you part of a search in that area?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall when that was?
The first time we went into that area was the Wednesday after Labor Day.
Okay.
And the second time we were in that area was on September 16th.
So tell me first about the first initial search. You can mark on the screen there for me, please. Where did you start?
So the first time we came down this path, and then we went along county line, and then we went into the woods somewhere around in this area. But we did not have our typical searching clothes on. We just had on shorts. So we didn't really spend a lot of time in there. We were just kind of mapping out the path that Amy had given us as far as where we wanted to go. So we just kind of made a quick pop into the woods. We didn't really look much, but that's what we did the first time.
And why did you decide on this day to search this particular area? And then that same area on the 16th, we'll talk about here in a second, but the initial search in this area that you were involved with, why did you decide to search there?
So Amy had given us 3 or 4 different walking paths around the condo that Emily liked to go. And so this was just one of the paths that she had given us. And so whenever we walked down the path, we would pop into the woods, like on either side of the path, and just kind of take a look around.
And was this the first time you searched in this area?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you wait until this time period to search this area?
Well, we waited because initially we had learned that
That's fine. I'll withdraw. So let's talk then on this first time. And you've marked this little southeastern portion of the woods, correct? I'm going to draw a little X there. Is that fair?
Uh-huh.
Okay. How would you describe that area of the woods, that sort of southeastern portion?
So it's got some trees. They're younger trees. There's a lot of open space. If I'm standing across the woods, I can easily see across the woods. It's not very dense.
And this sort of eastern portion, would you say that's the same, or is it different than the way you just described it?
It's all the same.
Now, you mentioned you were in this southeastern portion. Did you go anywhere else on that first day?
In the woods?
Correct.
No.
What about outside the woods in that area?
We walked the entire path that she had given us. We started right around Hoff Woods and walked. It was a mile or 2 path, and that's pretty much, I think, where we ended.
Now, I believe you mentioned you came back a second time on September 16th,
Correct.
2020. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why did you decide to come back a second time then on September 16th?
Because we had never truly searched in there. Like I said, we just had our shorts on and we weren't really prepared to do a thorough search. We had never gone to the western portion of the woods. And so we wanted to do a little bit more of a thorough search in that area.
So walk me through now then on September 16th, where did you start in terms of your search, and who was with you?
My sister Lisa was with me and my friend Sue. And we parked up here north in the parking lot and came down the bike path.
And if you can sort of draw down the path, how were you searching? What areas were you looking at?
So we came down. As we were coming down, we're looking on both sides of the woods. There's a kind of a steep drop off to the east. So we were mostly focused on the woods to the west. We came down this way and into the woods. We found a deer right around in here. We searched this open area pretty thoroughly, and then we started to go to the west.
Okay. Now, as you started to go to the west there, well, let me take a step back. How are the 3 of you searching? Are you bunched together, farther apart? Walk me through that process.
So the entire time we were searching this area, we were together. There was one point when Lisa and Sue, Lisa wanted to check out the creek. And so I do not get wet. So I stayed up top. They went down and walked the whole creek area. So that was probably the first time that we weren't all together, but we tried to stay together.
Okay. Now, sort of from the east here, walking west, is the terrain the same throughout, or is it changing?
No. So the floor of the woods is higher to the east than it is to the west. It slopes down. If you are going to enter the woods on the east side, you have to go up about 2 to 3 feet. And if you're going to enter the woods on the left, you have to go down about 3 feet.
What about the woods themselves, the trees, as you're walking west?
So as you're walking west, it gets very dense. I wouldn't even really call it trees. I would call it more like brush and vines and thicket. It gets very, very, very dense. It's hard to see through, and it's hard to walk through.
Now, let me ask, were the three of you all walking west together?
No. Lisa and Sue were walking to the west, and I stayed in the open part. The week before when we were in the woods, I had found this little angel. It was green and blue, and it just didn't seem like it fit. It just didn't seem like it should be there. And so I was trying to find the angel the second time we were in there, and Lisa and Sue had continued to the west. So they were walking to the west, and I was looking for the angel. And then I found the angel, and I took a picture of it, and I looked up, and I was alone. So I started to follow them.
Now, I'm going to stop you for a second. You say you took a picture of the angel. Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay. Was that something you would typically do whenever you would go out on searches?
Yes, we took pictures of everything.
Okay. What would you do with those pictures?
Well, sometimes if they were bones, we would have to send them to the authorities to try to figure out if they were animal or not. A lot of times we just used it as a date stamp or to figure out, when we were in what areas.
And I should have asked you earlier, about what time of day is this as you guys start walking to the west?
We started in the woods between 5 and 5:30. And as we're walking, I took the picture of the angel at 6:54. So it was just before 7.
So you find the angel, you look up, your two friends are now somewhere else.
Right.
What do you do next?
So I started to follow them. I could hear their voices, but I couldn't see them because of how thick it was. And I just started walking to the west rather quickly to find them. At one point, I had to pretty much crawl on my hands and knees to get under the thicket, climbing over, climbing under, just trying to figure out a way to get through because it was so thick.
And were you able to get through that area?
Yes.
What happened next?
So I heard them call my name, you need to come. And as I walked up, my sister was standing there and she said, "Is that what I think it is?" And I looked to my right and I could see a dead person.
Which was been previously labeled States Exhibit AA.
Defense
Exhibit AA. Thank you, Your Honor. Defense Exhibit AA. Does that look familiar to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why does that look familiar to you?
That's pretty much the angle that I was when I first came up to the body. That's what I saw.
And when you first walked up, were the other two ladies already there?
Yes.
Okay. And when the three of you were standing there, what happens next?
So the first thing was, it didn't look what we imagined it to look. We were looking for disturbed earth. We were looking for clothing on the ground or bones on the ground. And so the first thing was shock because she was upright. And so it just took a minute to process what we were seeing. And so I
don't think we need to see some of that stuff. So I'm going to skip stuff for that. I tried to do it quickly, like a 2x, but it's just too long on there.
I have no further questions at this time. Thank you.
Please.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Diane Menashe on behalf of Matt Moore. Showing you what's in my
Those that do want to see obviously the pictures of, like, you can watch in law crime. I don't think that we need to show some of these things. I respect for Matt, but also for Emily as well. So I'm skipping them, or as best I can skip them.
marked as Defense Exhibit D. Just a couple questions as you were traversing from this area across in this direction, so from east to west. I heard your testimony that there was so much brush and vines and thicket that it was hard to walk through. Is that right?
yes, but not from that point to that point. It was just,
Let me clear it and you show the jury more.
so this part right here.
Okay, so as you were walking up towards the remains, right? that's when things became really thick and dense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I realize that you're coming from this direction. Is that right? And this was pretty open.
Yes.
Heinzie,
Hey, how you doing?
good.
Hey,
We
hey,
can
Matt,
be
how you
better.
Oh,
Yeah, we're a bit like these witnesses, Dr. Hines. They've been a little bit, woo, shall we say? Um, yeah. I'm going. We got her on for a little bit longer. Oh, we've got another one as well. Fuck me, Jesus Christ. Anyway, right, we'll keep going for a little bit. I mean, this is, yeah, we're trying to go as quick as possible through some of these. They're not really worth discussing too much. But see the excitement in the thread.
God.
Dr. Hind, yo, Dr. Ketchup, the condiments
Hey,
have
hey,
arrived.
Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Josie. Hope you're well. But yeah, no,
So,
I've been watching it in the backstage to
cool,
testimony. Uh,
cool. Yeah, so I just to be honest with you, I'm glad you're here as well because I'm not on top form either. I was in bed for 16 hours yesterday, just sleeping, so I'm feeling it today as well. So I'm glad you got a little bit of an inspo from Dr. Hines coming in to keep everyone going as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's always nice to see you, dude. So I always appreciate you coming in.
nah,
Um,
you're cool. Let's hope I can lie in the mood because they were going through Emily's whereabouts. I could see. I don't like to highlight it, but I could of course see how it was,
yeah.
how Matt was looking. Like the guy looked like a broken puppy right now. I'm I hope you're well.
Yeah,
I
no.
hope you're well. I'm just trying to lie in the mood a little bit. But I do like puppies, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Emperor Palpatine right here.
you should have seen what they showed at trial. The pictures that they were showing, they were close-ups to her face. They were gruesome,
Yeah.
and they didn't show any of those on. I mean, that's nothing compared to what they were showing at trial, and they did it all for like shock and awe. That's all it was.
Yeah.
To be like, ooh,
Yeah.
look at this. It didn't mean anything. It wasn't evidence of anything. But they did this. I mean, and it was like, and it was on a screen that was right behind me. There was a huge screen that was right behind me. Everyone's looking at me, at these pictures of my wife, who's just not even my wife anymore. I don't know. It was just this mummified, weird glob of something, but it was just, it was horrifying. And everybody's just staring at me. It was horrifying. It was horrifying. I'm like trying not to pay attention to everybody, the jury, the cops, the judge, everybody's staring at me.
Yeah.
It was all for effect.
Yeah.
It was a show. It wasn't like, it wasn't like that it proved anything. It was for just prosecutorial effect.
To be quite, the ironic part is, well, not ironic, but the weird, that's the one. The weird part is sometimes those things work in the favors of the prosecution, and they actually get people convicted just based on that little blitz hour.
They wouldn't be doing it unless it worked.
Yeah.
This prosecutor, this team of prosecutors, it's not like they're coming up with this on their own. Trust me, they're not. They've been taught.
Yeah.
They've been trained. This is how you get convictions with laymen, with 12 laymen. This is what you do. You inundate them with information, and you make everything shocking. Oh my God, look at this. It's a show.
Right.
Right. Let's plow on a little bit to get rid of some of these.
And then let's say I'm walking in this direction, just like the three of you were, or even walking from this direction and walking in that way. There's a point where it gets very thick and dense, and you testified on direct that it was hard to walk through.
Correct.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And at one point you even said you were basically on your hands and knees to get through. It was so thick, right?
Yes.
Nothing further.
No additional questions.
anytime after you got into the thicket of the riders in that area, did you receive any scratches or bruises or tears or anything?
A lot of burrs on my legs, on my pants. We wore long sleeve shirts and long pants. So
Okay.
just a lot of briars and weeds and things like that.
Okay, then. That's an eliminated question. Any questions you have, go right ahead. Yes. No questions? Okay, you sit down, thank you. Go ahead,
So call Susan Sexton.
You don't have to stop it yet. What's next is going to be a guy that shows up and processes crime scenes for the OBI, which is Ohio Bureau of Investigation. I think he's probably about 13 years old. I think 13 or 14. Comes in with his little truck, his little van. No, it's not. Who's this?
Yeah.
They have all three ladies up there?
Yeah, must have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this woman's going to say the same thing. This is another lady that found her, I guess.
I know.
My name is Susan Sexton, Sexton.
And where do you currently work?
I currently work at Columbus Metropolitan Library, the Newalbany branch.
Do you live in Westerville?
I do.
How long have you lived in Westerville?
We have lived in Westerville for the last 6 years. However, I grew up in Westerville, so most of my life has been in Westerville.
I'm going to ask you to speak up just a little bit. I know you're used to being in a library, but do you know someone by the name of Lisa Gordish and Sherry Reynolds?
I do.
How do you know them?
I've been friends with Lisa for over 30 years. Sherry's her sister, and I've known Sherry for almost as long.
Okay. And are you known as their creaking friend?
I am.
Okay. Now, do you know someone by the name of Emily Noble?
Yes.
Have you ever met Emily Noble?
No.
How about, do you know someone by the name of Matheau Moore?
Yes.
And have you ever met Matheau Moore?
No.
Is your only knowledge of those two individuals just based on being involved in searches in this case?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So let's fast forward and talk a little bit about that. How did you first become involved in either searches for Emily Noble or being involved in that process?
Sure. So Lisa had reached out to me and said that there was a woman missing from Westerville, somebody that she had gone to high school with, that she had known, and she was interested in being a part of some of the search groups that were getting started. Asked me if I may at some point be interested in doing that, and I said yes.
And from that point forward, did you become involved in some of the searches?
I did.
Do you know ballpark how many you were involved with?
Yes, 7.
Okay. And generally speaking, those searches you're involved with, how were those organized or how did those work?
Basically, I'd get a text message from Lisa saying that, well, in the beginning, it was a little bit bigger group than the 3 of us, but it was still a small group. And I got a text message saying we were going to go search an area that had a creek bed or water. Would I be interested in going? And that's how I get started.
Fair to characterize, you would be the tag along to help with some of the searches with your 2 friends?
Yes.
Okay. Were you involved with a search then on September 16th of 2020?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And I'm going to direct you here to what's been labeled Defendant's Exhibit D. You recognize that area?
I do.
And was that the area that you were assisting with the search on September 16th?
Yes, it is.
Had you previously been to this area during any of the searches that you were previously involved in?
No, I had not.
Okay. And walk me through then, so on September 16th, who was with you?
I was with Lisa Gordish and Sherry Reynolds.
And do you know about what time you would have sort of come to this area and would have started walking around?
Yeah, I believe it was around 5:15.
We've heard this before.
What time we ended up at the park.
The screen in front of you, you can sort of draw on, so if you can kind of identify me where the 3 of you first started.
It was somewhere in this area. We actually started from this area. It was we had parked in an area behind businesses off of Rural. So we had walked to the path from this area and started walking this path south.
Okay, so just to clarify that, you sort of walked from this area down south down the bikeway?
Yes.
And as you're walking south, are you staying on the bike path or explain to the jury how the three of you were walking down the south?
Sure. So as we first came in, we decided to go ahead and check this area, which was to the east of the bike path. And there's a little bit of creek bed along that area. So if you went, started going in and just started looking. And we came up this way. I think we then came up to the path, and the three of us started coming into the woods this way.
Now, were the three of you together? Were you fanned out? How were the three of you situated as you're walking?
And once we entered this area, we were all together until probably about here, maybe a little further.
And once you get to sort of that area, that eastern portion, how would you describe that piece of the woods, that area?
This whole area from here to here is pretty sparse. It's you can see people several feet in front of you. It was easy to kind of clear it and look, and yeah, it wasn't too hard to get through.
Okay, so once you're located, the three of you are located there. Where did you go next?
So at this point, Lisa and I were walking this way, and I believe Jay then started heading a little west. We pushed through south further, and Lisa and I and Jerry continued kind of in this area.
So now we're in this sort of southeastern portion of the woods. How would you describe that area of the woods?
At this point, still see each other, but it started to get thicker just as we turned to go west.
Okay, did the three of you start walking in a westward direction?
Yes, by that point, Lisa and I were further south from Sherry, but we all started to walk west.
So what happens when the three of you start walking west? Does the woods change at all? Does it stay the same? Explain that to me, please.
So we had stopped just short before turning and going in that direction, and it was still, it wasn't too thick. As we started going west, it became increasingly thick with trees, branches. It was very hard to get through. I had two poles that I was using to kind of work my way. I still had Lisa in my sight, but it was a little harder to see her, and we would kind of communicate just to know where each other was.
So you're still somewhat close to Lisa?
Yes.
What about Sherry?
Sherry was at my side at that point, but we could still hear each other.
And what happens as you continue to go west?
So at this point, Lisa was ahead of me, and I was getting to the point where I couldn't see her much. And I was just trying to get through branches and trees and had to kind of crawl over. And then I heard Lisa. She called out my name.
And did you eventually find Lisa?
I did. I was covered in burrs by the time I got to her because it was hard to get through all of the trees to get to her.
Now, can you sort of draw a little X, that area of where you, if you know, where you think Lisa and you were situated at that point?
I can do my best, yeah. It was roughly there.
Okay. And what happened? What did you see when you finally found Lisa?
By the time I got up to Lisa, she was standing between me and a large tree that was down. I had said before I reached her, I said, "Did you find something?" And she said, "I believe I did." And when I got to her, she said, I think she said, "What is that?" or pointed, and I carefully got over the tree and stood right in front of it and just looked. And then that's when we saw what we were trying to figure out what we saw, which ended up being a body.
I'm going to show you what's been labeled Defendant's Exhibit AA. Does that look familiar to you?
Yes, it does.
Is that what you were just attempting to describe?
Good work.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait till this next guy is he's fairly important.
so what we're going to do is we're going to watch this guy till lunchtime or whatever it is, and then we'll cut it because there's about another 20 minutes to go, and then we'll cut it. So I think this guy's going to be on for longer.
Yeah, he testifies for quite a bit. He's the crime scene investigator from OBI.
And he's
Doesn't
on for
take any
ages.
pictures of her. Doesn't take any pictures of the ligature around her neck. Who testifies that it's pitch black when he goes back there, which would testified that it would have been impossible for me to go back there and do what I did when they said I did it because it would have been so dark. Yeah, this guy testifies for me.
I think they all fucking testify for you.
Because they're fucking morons, dude. Because they're fucking stupid. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know how.
This guy's a
don't know how
fucking
this
moron.
made it.
Wait until you fucking. It's like they don't even attempt to vet what this guy's gonna say. He literally gets up on the stand and testifies for me. He did a shit job. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a rookie. Look at him. So he's got a receding hairline. What does that mean? Does that mean you're fucking smart? No. It means he's fucking 12 years old, this kid.
That's right. Mel says, not a fan of fast forward, but I'll go back. Yeah, please, by all means, go back and watch. I mean, there are certain things we're going to fast forward. Matt said very clearly, these three witnesses are nothing burgers. There's nothing happening. They're saying the same stories again. I'm not going to do it. Also, I'm not going to show any of Emily and stuff on this. I'm going to fast forward to anything that like that. So if you do need to go back and watch these shows on Law and Crime, this is day 4. Feel free to do so.
They're filler witnesses. They only needed one of them, those ladies, to get up there and testify, but they had all three because they didn't have anybody else to put up there. They needed to take up
Yeah.
time. They're called filler witnesses.
Yeah.
They're fucking filler. They don't
That's
do
fine.
anything for them.
Right.
I know, and that's why I skipped them. But at the same time, I do appreciate some people want to see the whole trial as it is. Please go off and watch it. There's no offense on my part. It's just the fact of, look, we got to skip certain things, because Jesus. But I do respect the fact that people want to watch as well. But that's how we do it. We're not normal here. If we were normal, we wouldn't be doing this. We won't be on week 16.
You're not going to get this anywhere else with a guy like me who's been acquitted for murder at his trial. You're not going to get it. You won't.
No,
Find
we're not
it.
going to get that.
Find
Right.
it. It's nowhere out there. So hopefully someday we'll have Zach on because he got acquitted. He got let out. And then you can spend a year
100%.
with him. Fucking
Right.
Does he let you know about all the bullshit that they did to him?
Yeah, 100%. Just like I watched the whole trial. Yeah, same here. I think we watched it all. It's just more of a, it's not. Again, I'm poking Mel on because she's saying that. I do appreciate that people want to see it, and if it wasn't the fact that they were showing Emily and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't skip it. It's just, I just not my cup of tea with, especially with Matt on here. That's the only thing. So please feel free to go back. I do appreciate it. I really do. Matheau Moore verdict was 2025. I mean, this is why Matheau Moore verdict was 2025. It's going to be 2025 by the time we finish this bloody trial. But we don't mind it. Walk the corner. There you go.
Hey, check Matt repping.
Respect.
Matt is repping.
Oh man, repping. He is repping. So right, so we've just seen those three witnesses.
I want to rep too.
Well, there's a merch store, you idiot. So go buy some. I know. You've got that. This guy now. Oh, I need to change this. Actually, hang on. Sorry, carry on. I need to change the setting of it back to normal speed.
And here I was thinking I could rely on the goodness of Dylan's heart.
Do you know what? I don't even make money off it, mate. I don't even make money off. Well, I think I make £2 off it or something. So yeah, I don't giving loads of freebies out. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But anyway.
I was actually going to finish off with you. You must be a ladies' man. Where you're at?
No. I know, but just jurors, just to let you know, we're probably going to be here for another year, so you'll be fine for a while. Don't worry. I can't afford shipping to Dr. Hines. Do you know what, Erin? It's the same thing. It's honestly, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
How much is shipping anyway?
Fucking way too much. I just bought these two things, right, saying Erin Hack on it. Just things to put dangle here. It cost me 40 quid, mate, for these two cheap ass ornament things that are worth something like 5 quid or something each. And I paid 40 quid for shipping and everything just because of Erin bloody Hack. So it's expensive, dude. That's why I tell people don't buy stuff from the merch store unless you're in America. It's cheaper in America. But even then, it's still bloody expensive. So, and I have to pay full whack. It's ridiculous. Anyway, enough of the whinging. Let's go back another 15 minutes or so for this guy. And then
check out the merch store. Check out the merch store. Anyway.
Never sell it.
Nice band.
I like his tie though. I mean, shame about the hairline, but his tie is all right.
His tie is all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame about the hairline, but
he does the worst crime scene analysis processing that you could ever imagine making. This guy fucks the whole thing up. He doesn't take pictures of anything.
Jesus Christ. Right, let's listen to him then. Motherfucker.
Are you okay?
It's been good. No buffering. Here we go. Right.
Chad Holcomb, HOLCOMB.
And Mr. Holcomb, how are you employed?
I'm currently a special agent for the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation.
OBI.
And what the heck does that mean?
So we work under the Ohio Attorney General's office. We are a law enforcement agency. We also at BCI have an identification section, a lab section, investigations. I'm investigation section. So we're law enforcement. We have a bunch of different units, and we are an assisting agency. So we get requested in by local jurisdictions to come in and help them with their case. And we can do as much or as little as the local jurisdiction would like us to help out with.
And so you are a law enforcement officer
little.
with the state.
Correct. I'm a sworn law enforcement officer. I actually went through the police academy right here in Delaware County.
And what kind of educational background do you have prior to joining the Attorney General's office?
So I have a sociology degree from Ohio University, high school degree from Dublin High School, and then recently I completed my Master's of Business Administration through Tiffin University.
Oh, local boy.
And what did you do upon graduation?
After graduation, and actually a lot through graduation of college, I worked at Channel 10 as a production assistant.
Oh.
And then at some point you decided to become a cop?
Logical career choice, I think. My dad's a retired police officer, so it's in my blood. I've been around it my whole life.
And then when you decided to make that leap, did you have to go through additional training and education to become a law enforcement officer?
Yeah, so right when I got hired at BCI, I had to attend the police academy. So that's when I attended the police academy through Delaware County Sheriff's Office.
And then in addition to the police academy, have you attended any other trainings for your position?
I have. I attended the National Forensic Academy, which is a 10-week, 400-hour program in Knoxville, Tennessee, about 2 years ago. And I have a lot of different certifications as well.
And what is the National Forensic Academy and what do you learn there?
So at the NFA for short, we lived in Knoxville, Tennessee for 10 weeks. We learned everything from photography to bloodstain pattern analysis to bombs and explosives, shooting reconstruction. We also spent 2 or 3 days at the body farm learning how to dig up clandestine graves as well and document and preserve the evidence.
10 whole weeks.
And have you received or
maybe Schmock was there?
Certificates, that's the word I'm going to use for
giving a class.
Your role as a special agent.
Yeah, so I'm a master criminal investigator and a master evidence technician through the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy. And I'm also a certified crime scene investigator through the International Association of Identification and the University of Tennessee's Law Enforcement Innovation Center.
Man.
And so with that training and background, what is your role now at BCI?
So I've been at BCI for 7 years next month. For the past little over 3 years, I've been assigned to the crime scene unit.
And what did you do for BCI before you were assigned to the crime scene unit?
I was a criminal investigator in our heroin unit.
And I want to focus though on your time working for the crime scene unit. You said that's roughly 3.5 years at this point?
Yeah, 3.5 years.
And what are some of the routine things that you do as a crime scene investigator?
So once again, we're an assisting agency. So if there's a crime that needs crime scene processing, the local jurisdiction can call and request me to come out and process the scene. I do deal with also involved shootings, homicides, question deaths, sexual assaults, and I will go out and process the scene, collect evidence, preserve it. So one, the detectives can go out and follow up leads and interview people, but I also have a lot of experience in processing these scenes. So I know some things to look for, and I have all the equipment I need to process the scenes.
And so how many scenes have you processed, do you think?
So I looked at my Excel spreadsheet. In the past 3 years, I have been involved with about 175 crime scenes.
And have any of those crime scenes been
that doesn't sound like a lot, to be honest. I
Yeah,
mean,
really about 50% of my caseload. Right about 80 to 85 cases have been homicides, and those aren't just a single homicide. They can also include doubles, triples, and my one quadruple that I've had.
And so when you arrive at a crime scene after you've been called out, is it considered your scene?
So I am responsible for like the integrity of the scene. So as you see on TV shows, the crime scene tape, I try and limit who all goes in there because I don't want any evidence to get destroyed before I can collect it.
Yeah. Okay.
And tell the jury a little bit about how it is that a local law enforcement agency can request BCI to come to the scene.
So it's usually after some sort of crime. The locals will talk about, do we need BCI assistance? Then they're determined yes, and they call our radio room, which is 24 hours a day. They will call the radio room, tell them what's going on, and then the radio room will contact the supervisor that's on duty at that time. The The supervisor would then call the local jurisdiction, see what they got going on, see if it falls under our criteria for us to respond. And if it does, my boss will then call someone like myself to respond to the scene.
And so what, do you kind of have a process you work through when you arrive at a scene?
Yeah, so every scene is, I don't want to say the same, but my process is all the same. The first thing we're going to do is do an initial walkthrough. I want to see what I have going on. I need to see if I have all the tools that I need, because some agents have different things on their truck than my truck. And I also need to see, do I need more manpower? Because the old saying, the call you get isn't necessarily what you're going to. It's very true. What I could be told might be completely different from what it is when I get there. So I need to see with my own eyes, do an initial walkthrough. And that's how I start every single crime scene.
And so you mentioned a truck. What is this truck you're referring
to?
So it's my big BCI crime scene truck. It's currently parked outside. You've probably seen on.
Sorry, mate.
You don't have to stop it. It's just like you remember Scooby Doo, right? The mystery van. That's what he drives around.
Yeah.
He pulls up. Yeah. He got any Scooby snacks for the boys.
Says Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, crime scene unit, and that is my mobile office. It goes home with me. So right when I get called out, I can jump into it. It has everything from packaging materials to a 3D scanner to crime scene tape. Anything I need to process scene is pretty much in my truck.
This guy has no clue what he's doing.
What are your most reliable tools in the truck?
The thing I use the most is a camera. I was just on a scene this past weekend where all of us, there are 3 agents, we took 2,200 pictures.
But not one.
That is my most reliable thing, because honestly, you guys.
I don't know why he volunteered this information if he did not take one picture of your scene. Why would you volunteer that information? Oh, God. You are 100% right, Matt. When you said that this guy just turned up and just testified, you were 100% right. How do you?
He's literally telling you how good he is, and then how fucking he didn't take any pictures of the rope that was around Emily's neck, and that's what the whole case was. Was this a murder or was it a suicide? And you don't take a picture of her fucking how it was around her neck. This guy is a moron. All that shit he just got done saying. That's the smoke that they throw in front of the jury so that the jury thinks this guy knows what he's talking about. He does not. He's a child. He has no clue what he's doing. He shows up in his van, in his little mobile van, and breaks out all this lighting equipment. This guy doesn't have I'm telling you, he doesn't have a fucking clue what he's doing. And this is what you pay your tax money's paying for. And it was like, when you think, when they found Emily, the Westerville Police Department where they were just picking up the phone, calling as many people as they could to get involved, because that's what it's about. It's churning an account. Get as many whatever, all these different types of agencies going, because that's what government is. This is what it is, and these are the people that show up. Guys like this that don't even take pictures. How many pictures did you take? Well, you're taking pictures of your dick. What the fuck are you taking pictures of? What were you taking pictures of? You would think that the literature would have something to do with it. Asinine. It's a scam. It's just a fucking scam, man. They fucking know. They all know. This guy knows I'm innocent. He knows. Dad, I'm sorry.
Go to the scene. I need to bring the scene to you guys so you guys can see what it looks like. So I use my camera a lot, and I also have a 3D scanner, which collects measurements. It's kind of laser. It shoots out, and I can create diagrams, get measurements, and then just all my packaging materials that I put evidence in.
In your experience working 100 scenes or so, have you ever worked with cadaver dogs?
I have.
And are they a reliable tool in your experience?
I've used cadaver dogs probably 3 or 4 times in my career, and I've never had success with them.
What did he say?
He said he never had success with them.
Agent Holcomb, I want to turn your attention to September.
Wait. Did he just? This is their witness, and he just came on the stand and said he's never had success with the dogs that was used to analyze. That was used to try and find
Never. But they use them. You know why? Because it's money. Because there's a cadaver dog handler. There's the actual cadaver dog where you house the dog. You got to feed him. You got to fucking train him. You got to fucking, it's all money, dude. And they don't even work. And here's what I'm telling you. I've never been involved in my huge career of 3 years of doing whatever I'm doing in there. Have I ever used a cadaver dog where they worked? Ever. It's like, what the fuck, dude? They're fucking cops do not know what they're doing. They don't know. There's an IQ limit. They take an IQ test before they enter the academy. If it's too high, you can't get in. There's a limit on how smart you can be to become a cop. I'm not lying. Look it up.
I believe you. If
you score too high on an IQ test, they won't let you in the academy. And then they walk around all proud to be cops. You're proud to be dummies. They're proud of it. The thin blue line, fucking assholes. What are you fucking? Yeah, you're stupid. Put that on your side of your car. We're dumb. We fallen below this fucking IQ test. So here's our flag for it. It's fucking stupid.
It was.
And tell the jury how it came to be that you were dispatched.
So like I said before, the local jurisdiction, which was Westerville PD, had a scene that they wanted BCI crime scene support. So they called our radio room, talked to my supervisor, and then he called me, dispatching me to County Line Road in Westerville.
And can you give the jury the exact location that you responded to?
I believe it was Crossings Road and County Line Road.
And is that located in Delaware?
Scooby-Doo showed up.
And did you receive any information before you got there?
It's a mystery.
Yes, my supervisor told me that there was a female in the woods, and it was believed to be Emily Noble at that time, even though it was not confirmed.
Had you had any knowledge of Emily Noble prior to being dispatched to the scene?
Just from what I saw in the news.
And when you got to the scene, can you tell the jury what time it was?
I believe I arrived on scene a little bit before 9:30 p.m. and I started processing officially the scene at 9:32 p.m.
And did anyone else arrive with you?
Yes, I also had another agent, Asia Chung, was with me as well.
And when you arrived to the scene, can you describe kind of, not when you go into the woods, but when you first get there, what do you see?
There was a large police presence there. Police presence, there was fire department trucks there. A lot of emergency lights were on. There was a strong media presence as well, and just civilian onlookers were there as well.
They had a fire truck there.
And so, did you?
Why not? Hey, fuck it.
Previously
right?
described.
I did.
And what was the first thing that you did?
So like I said before, I did an initial walkthrough with myself, and I believe the coroner investigator, Carlson, at that time. We went down through the woods to, once again, see what we had and see if I needed any additional resources.
And did you also have your scanner with you?
I did.
Now, describe when you made that first initial approach. And you said you got there about 9:30 p.m.?
Roughly.
What was the weather like? What was the lighting like?
It was dark. It was September, so, it was getting later in the summer. It was a little dark. Wasn't rainy. Was decently warm outside.
And was there lighting already set up when you got there, or was it pitch black?
There was lighting down in the woods where her body was located at.
And so you walked down there with Investigator Carlson?
Yes.
And who is he again?
He's the coroner investigator for Delaware County.
And as you describe your walk towards the remains.
So there was crime scene tape around it, and one of the detectives, and probably Mr. Carlson, told me this is the best path that we found to get down to the remains. So I believe I probably followed Mr. Carlson down to the remains since he had been down there before.
And that was off of County Line Road.
Yes, ma'am.
And so after you made that initial approach, what did you do next?
So then, just like with any other crime scene, I'm going to pull out my camera and take overall photographs. I want to show the scene as it was upon my arrival, so it can show what it was like when I started processing. So I took photos from the roadway and the sidewalk area, and then just ever so slightly, a couple steps as I'm going down the woods, take pictures just to show the path that I took down to the body.
Matt, if you don't mind me asking, did they try to appeal this case?
Say that one more time.
Oh, did the prosecution try to appeal the
Appeal?
the
I
not
don't.
guilty?
I don't think once you're found not guilty.
No, you
I
can't.
believe that
Oh,
they
you can't
can.
appeal. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
But
All right.
they can. The federal government can take on your case if they want to.
Okay.
They could charge me, and they can also come up with new charges. That's why people think I'm insane getting on here talking all the time, because they're probably waiting for me to say something that they can be like, hey, we can bring them up on some other charge. But you know what?
Right.
Fuck them. Because they
Yeah.
can't. They can't, because I'm telling the truth all the time. So I'll talk all fucking day. I don't care.
Who's been saying that? Who's been saying that you're crazy to do that? Do you
The
know?
guys from Dateline who have been doing this for 32 years said, this guy is online talking. If I was him, I would just get a ticket to Alaska and just get out of town. But because they know the guys from Westerville are the DA in Delaware County is probably watching these, trying to figure something out. But maybe not. But that's the guys from Dateline were like, they thought I was a little crazy for getting online and talking about my case. And they've only been doing it 32 years. Imagine the debauchery those people have seen. Imagine the amount of police corruption that the Dateline guys have seen all their lives.
Right.
They're corrupt.
Well, let's say hi to them in case they're watching. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream.
They're nice people. They just, they got a little formula in it and it makes them a lot of money, so that's what they're doing. Every once in a while they'll throw a bone and try to get a guy out of jail, out of prison. They do it every once in a while, but they know how corrupt police are, but they're pro-establishment. I mean, if you watch Datelines, I watch Datelines all the time, and they're fucking pro-cop. They're just, it's literally a script that the police break out with every Dateline. It's the same thing. It's always the husband. Right. This is a crime of passion. They've been stabbed so many times, blah, blah, blah. It's just the same fucking routine over and over and over again because they're fucking cops, man. It's a business. You've seen one Dateline, you've seen them all.
And I can give the jury kind of an idea how many photographs did you take in this case?
I'd probably say around 150 to 200.
Your Honor, just for purposes of the record, we are making a digital copy of all of those photographs. We are only going to present some. Thank you. All right, and now, Agent Holcomb, you've had the opportunity to review printouts from the state of Ohio of your photographs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I'm going to hand you what's being marked as 108A, B, C, D, E, and F. Just a minute, if you can look at those and your initials at the bottom of each of those. Your Honor, permission to publish to the jury?
No objection. I have also been shown these in advance, Your Honor.
I think these are all right. They're not graphic, I don't think. If they are, they'll be pixelated.
And placing States Exhibit 108F on the overhead.
So that's going to be one of my photographs. You can kind of see the curb on the bottom showing the wooded area that I'm about to walk into.
And this area right here, is that County Line Road?
It is.
All right, and then if you can, your screen is actually like a marker. If you use your finger, kind of show the jury where it is you go in.
I believe I went in somewhere right around that area.
All right, I'm going to place on the overhead States Exhibit 108E.
Come on.
So there's a closer photograph of the area I walked into, which was right there where I circled.
And so do you take photographs every couple feet as you're moving into a scene?
Yeah, and especially in this instance, when the body is located deep inside the woods, I want to just photograph every couple feet, or if there's something of significance I want to photograph, I'll just keep snapping photos as I walk down.
And 108D.
So here is the clearing. You can see as the path that I took down, you can see the crime scene tape. So this is right as I'm getting ready to walk into the wooded area.
B.
So here is, I'm now past the crime scene tape, just a photograph of my path down and through the woods.
C.
Here's another photograph of the wooded area. I believe I'm going to walk this way to the left. If you see the yellow right there, that is a portable light that was set up before I got there.
And 108A.
So there is the yellow light that you can see, and you can see in the distance in the middle the remains of Miss Noble. I do.
And were you able to measure the distance from County Line Road to the remains that were found at the scene?
Yes, so I actually couldn't use my scanner in that situation just because of all the trees. So I just used the classic tape measure to measure that. And it was 65.5 feet from the curb to the remains.
Your Honor, I see that it's 3:30. Would you like to take our afternoon break? That's fine.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take our mid-afternoon.
Okay.
Okay, that's where we'll end it for now, till next week. I'm not sure if you want to say anything. Today's been a bit boring because obviously that testimony and now this guy, but there's not much to add, I think, from today's episode.
I found him interesting.
I found him
yeah.
The guy just went up and said that the dogs that have been mentioned all through this trial, he's had no success with them. I'm like,
never once have I ever dogs ever worked. The cops.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
I think he misspoke.
The woman with the women.
He misspoke probably. We have to ask him that question again. Make sure he was
right. Yeah. No, it's fine. So Matt, before you go, have you got anything, Matt, you want to add in, or are you happy?
No, thank you. See you later,
you, man.
buddy.
Catch you later, buddy. See you later. See you next week, man. Heinzie, people dropping out.
Peace.
Mate. People dropping out. Have you got anything that you want people to know about your upcoming week or anything?
Oh, no, just got if you're interested in the Courtney Clinic case, I'm covering that because a new documentary has been released. So I'll be going through that this week. I'm also releasing more and more interviews in regards to that Be Heard docuseries that I've done. I spoke to a couple of supporters who have been following the case from 2016. So it's just very interesting to get all those out there to see what people were saying at that time. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm doing for the next week. But yeah.
Not cool. Obviously presidential holiday on Monday for our American friends, so enjoy yourselves. Don't know how it affects everybody. Some holidays going on. So I'll be back on Tuesday with the Carriga trial, some other stuff as well, I hope. I'm just super tired at the minute, so been a long few weeks, but we're getting there. Thank you everybody for being here and for supporting as always. That's all we got. So with that, we'll sign out. Thank you for giving up your Saturdays to be with us. I really do appreciate that, everybody. Appreciate you, Heinzie, and appreciate everyone else. just quick question. What are the next strategies doing? Karen Reid. So Kariga and then Karen Reid is the plan if it goes ahead. Karen Reid is the next trial, Lou, because that's starting on the 12th of March. So Kariga is supposed to be finishing around the 14th to 16th of March. So that overlaps quite nicely. So yeah, I've done some recent ones as well. Obviously, two lives recently about Karen Reid as well. So I've got another one coming up, hopefully next week as well. So with that, everybody, peace out. Thank you very much, and love you all. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, I need to finish my outro now. Where the fuck's my outro? There it is. Catch you later.